about to go downtown.
Downtown Kay.
Downtown. You about to go downtown.
Hi, King. How are you doing tonight?
What's up? I'm glad to be here.
Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me? I know sometimes my speaker in and out. Okay.
You're perfect.
Cool.
And I know my nails are looking kind of green. I boxed down some curry goat for dinner, so.
That's what's up. I like green though, so we're good. We're good.
All right. So what time is it over where you're at now?
It's 9 p.m. here too. I'm in North Carolina, so it's still Eastern time.
Okay. I'm not really strong with the whole time zone, so I know some parts in the States is usually different. So I thought I'd ask. And shout outs to everyone out there in North Carolina, everyone, South Carolina, the whole Carolina. No beef, no shade, no tea. So I want to set the tone that way with this track right here. I found my favorite in your catalog, you know.
Okay.
And like you said in Sour Grapes, you know, why my song can't be your favorite? Well, I found one of my favorites, so we're going to let it ride, okay?
Okay, that's what's up.
It'll never be the same as murder she wrote. To the fat bitch, no God up there saying he prays for the most. But I like to raise a toast for the bread toast. Straight to the head toast. I got the stick, I make them toast. Instead I like to raise a toast. I like to raise a toast.
Hey. No, that track right there, you guys make sure stream all platforms. Search the FatBoy, one word. His music will come up, and you guys definitely stream. That was Toast, because I don't want to get taken down, so I won't play anymore. But how are you doing? Like, congratulations on all the music you've been putting out. I see last year you really went hard in the paint. 2020, you really went hard. So, like, what sparked that momentum to be like, I'm going to go harder than the other years?
So really it started in about 2018, really. And I don't have like a one set thing. It was kind of like a few different things, but I think the number one thing was that I started to, for lack of a better phrase, I started to find the revenue in it a little bit. As far as like some of the business stuff. So it wasn't so much of like, I'm going to go harder with the music, more so as, okay, I've learned some business stuff, so let me go a little harder with that and try to focus a little bit more on that. So, you know, and when that came down to, you know, everything from like copyrights and PRO registration all the way to, you know, royalties and stuff like that. So, I mean, I started, you know, just finding a little bit of the money, and it was like, hey, I can, you know, this can pay some bills, so let me go a little harder.
And it's beautiful that you can take your art and your craft and something you're actually passionate about. And when you start to see that income, you know, everyone here, they know my story. So I definitely champion that. And I'm happy you found a way, even if it's $10, like you're still making money off of something you love. So I totally champion that. Speak on how important it was for you though, to understand getting your business in order.
So like, that's kind of how I started before I even like released anything. Way back when, I would like skip class at school and go to the library and be on the computer Googling, you know, how do record contracts work? How do royalties work? How do you know? Because I knew absolutely nothing, and I didn't really have anybody at the time that could teach me that kind of thing. So I knew a little bit of it. And then I'm a learner, you know what I mean? So even past that, you know, years go by and I'm, you know, rapping and everything. And I, you know, pick up a little bit more information here and there, a little bit. Okay, how do I know how to fill out this. I know how to do that. You know what I mean? And so it kind of built from there. But what really galvanized it was this year. I take a lot of master classes, read a lot of literature. Like I'm one of them guys that when you scrolling down Instagram and you get one of them, take my master class, free master class to learn. I mean, right. I do them things. I sign up for them and I'll sit there and I'll watch them and I'll take notes and everything. But I went to, I actually went to one physically in Charlotte, North Carolina, hosted by DJ Chuck T. And he, it's called The Foundation of Music. And he literally, like, he walks you through, I mean, you know, he walks you through the more of the business side than like producing music and everything. Very knowledgeable cat. I would recommend artists to definitely hit him up. But that really kind of set a fire under me. It was like, okay, a few of the puzzle pieces that I was missing kind of really came about. So where 2020 was more so about building my catalog more and having more content, so when people do come to check me out, there's something to look at.
Yeah.
Right. 2020, mid 2021 up until now has been really more so about you know, trademarks, LLCs, copyrights, you know, really, I mean, the boring stuff. Let's just keep it honest, the boring stuff. You're filling out paperwork, you're sending in music and waiting for people to respond back. It might not be the most glamorous, entertaining part of the business, but right, it's a necessary evil. So that's kind of what that was. I'm on a build mission.
No, talk that talk. Here at Downtown World, we say eat fruit, mind your business, and you're definitely giving a lot of fruit tonight, you know? The mistake I feel like a lot of artists make is, I get it, you could rap, it's on a fire beat, but there's so much more. Like, the talent is only about 5 to 10% of that, in my humble opinion, and just what I've seen. And it's more who you know, where you can get in, and how much you can put up. You know, so the fact that you're here and you're not ashamed to let others know, like, I invested in myself, I invested in my education, and to make sure that no one, as much as possible, can take advantage of me. You know, I just watched the King Richard movie with Venus and Serena Williams and their father. That story, you know, and there was the scene, for those of you, spoiler alert, when like Nike comes in and he's all like, yo, I got $3 million for you, you know? And King Richard, Mr. Williams, he hands the contract to his daughter. And he's like, you read this. And we're like, she's 14. But it's like, when you got your mind trained, it doesn't matter how old you are or where you're at in life, no one can take advantage of you. So major key.
And you get that even, you know, even at a, I still consider myself pretty indie, pretty small time, you know, for lack of better phrase. But even at the level that I'm currently at, it's like, once you kind of start picking up some of those pieces and cutting out some of those middlemen, you start to really realize that you do have the ability to discern. Now it's not, oh, I got to do this show because that's what you're supposed to do and I just have to. Now it's like, if I want to, I will. If I don't want to, I don't have to. I'm not going to suffer if I don't show up. You know, and that's kind of across the board. I mean, you could kind of choose who you want to work with and what you want to do. So I definitely tell artists, and going back to what you were saying, that's the perfect phrase, invest in yourself. And it doesn't always have to be millions of dollars, but I mean, anything that can move the peg along. If you got an extra $20 after you get paid, you know, throw it on some good quality graphics or some studio time or something like that. You know what I mean?
No, I definitely agree. And, you know, you said, are you based out of, because sometimes I know I see you at Baton Rouge. Am I saying it correctly?
Oh, Baton Rouge. No, that's
Baton
just the name of it.
Oh my gosh, don't crucify me, guys. So where do you represent for, would you say?
I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. That's where I'm originally from. I'm not based there, but I'm not far from there. I'm still in North Carolina for sure. So that's where I'm from, Greensboro, North Carolina. Shout out my Greensboro folks, 336.
No, shout out to you guys. And the more I grow, you know, within learning music, like, North Carolina has a lot of history. And I think people don't really give it as much respect as when it comes to, you know, the music game, as much as maybe people should, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
How,
That,
yeah, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that's true. Me aside, I see a lot of talent. I go to shows and I hear music. Like I really do digest other artists. I
Yeah,
buy
you're
other artists'
active.
merch.
You're active.
Yeah, so it's like I see a lot of talent. I see a lot of great performers. I see a lot of great musicians, and not even just hip hop and R&B, but I've met some dope guitar players. I've met some dope, bands and singers and dancers and graffiti artists. I mean, there's a lot of talent, and it feels like they're starting to look now, especially after cats like the Baby and J. Cole.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to look this way a little bit more. It's like, okay, there's really some talent because
There's
a
someone
lot
over
of
there, yeah.
right. So I'm definitely excited to be a part of that, no matter what scale.
And I want to correct you on something you said earlier, because you say you're kind of small town indie, but you're not, because you've really been putting in your work, and I'm here all the way in Toronto, Canada, and we are able to connect, and I enjoy your music. So to me, that's not small. We're not that close
That's
to
true.
each other. So you got to give yourself, those wins, no matter how small or big. And I'm learning a lot. Yes, it's to be humble, but also like you got to remind yourself, because no one's going to actively tell you what you accomplish and how well you're doing. So you
That's
definitely
true.
have to remind yourself, like, yo, I had an interview this week with someone in Toronto, Canada. Did you? Straight up.
And that goes hand in hand because I do try to be humble. Especially to be honest, it's the same way there's a lot of talent in North Carolina, you can get a lot of hate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's really anywhere, so I'm not just gonna call out, this area specifically.
But it's your
Um,
experience.
right. So, I try to not be all Hollywood with it, like, yeah, I'm da 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 da. But at the same time, it goes back to like we were saying about the business side of it. There are dozens, hundreds, thousands of artists that have never made one red penny off of a song. You know what I mean? So even if you make $1, $10, you already ahead of like 50% of the game. You know what I mean? So yeah, it counts. But I just try to be humble. I try not to brag and
So I'd love to know, FatBoy. Is it okay that I call you that?
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so listening through your catalog, right? I really do admire, I love your beat selection. I am like a fan of like your type of rap. So I am a bit, I guess, biased in saying that. But also, I love your tone. You have like a sexy, like cruisy tone. It kind of gives me, I don't want to say any names, but I'll leave it at that. And as well, I admire your vocabulary. Where does that stem from for you? Do you read a lot? Do you like?
I do, because like I said, I digest a lot of information. I actually start like I call it research and development. Like I'll read articles and I'll read books. I'm currently reading this is one I recommend to all artists, and I just started reading it, but it's already like a treasure trove of information. But it's
I'm
called
grabbing
Everything
my
You Need to
pen.
Know. Huh?
I said I'm grabbing my pen.
Oh, it's called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business. I think that's the title. And it's by Donald S. Passman, Passman. So I read and I study. But even before that, like my dad always had an extensive vocabulary when we were kids because he was always reading. And then it kind of just passed down. But then I started writing, and that really helped the vocabulary. Like I started writing rhymes when I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
And so, years and years and years of writing, you pick up new words and you add new words and you learn what words you already knew but may not have known the definition. And so rap also helps with articulation when you really work on the craft.
Yeah, and like, what inspired you to even start writing at 10? Because, for me, my mom, I'm first generation, like my mom's Jamaican. I'm first generation, like in Canada for my family, and like not being able to have a babysitter all the time or whatever, like I was submerged in entertainment and BT and like the stuff that we had access to. So now what I'm doing is not quite a surprise to everyone because I've always kind of been interested in these things, right? So for you, starting at 10, like what sparked that for you to like just start writing rhymes, or you know?
So probably I want to say like the summer before I started writing rhymes. We used to go to my grandma's house every summer for summer vacation when we were kids, and that was the summer that I first. I mean, I had heard hip hop, I had heard of hip hop, but I hadn't really given it too much, credence. And so I heard Notorious B.I.G. or I saw the video for Hypnotize. I'm dating myself right now.
Oh, no,
but I but I saw that video, and it was representation for me, because that was the first time that I saw somebody that, looked close to me. Like I usually see like LL Cool J or Trex from Naughty by Nature, and even when it came to big dudes, you had like Heavy D, he's suave and light skinned with the curl and you know what I mean? So B.I.G. was the first time I saw somebody that, you look like a regular guy. Like you look like a guy that would be, on the block or something like that. And that kind of lit a fire. But for me, hip hop started, as far as me writing, as a way to express. It was self-expression. Hip hop was my journal for a long time. I was a 10-year-old kid. Some stuff you got going on may not seem important to, the adults or even the older kids around you. And so that was kind of the way I unloaded. And honestly, the first song that I had wrote was a song about sex, because that was actually around the time that I lost my virginity being fast.
Yeah.
And I definitely couldn't talk to my mom or dad or my grandma about that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I broke out the notebook and the pen and went with that. And at first it was just like, I'm just getting it off my chest and it's kind of fun and da. But, I started, I'll kick some freestyles for friends or let somebody read some rhymes in the notebook or, little stuff like that. And people were like, yo, this is actually pretty hot. This is actually pretty hot. And it just kind of kept going from there. I'm like, okay, people actually like my little ramblings. I didn't even know how to write bars back then. It was just, I was writing paragraphs that rhymed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely wrote a 16 or two, and I will never bring it to light. So totally understand. When we think about like Black history, everything happening, there's always something happening. But, I'm in full agreement that while we have Black History Month, this month should definitely be Black Future Month as well. There's so much people out there doing amazing things that are like contributing to the culture and pushing us forward. And, who are some people that you would say like musically, Black history wise, that really like help set a tone for you? To give you time to think, for me, for sure, Hove is forever on that list. Drake is definitely on that list for me. I know how sometimes people in the States feel about him, but y'all gotta understand, like, similar to North Carolina, we have a lot of parallels where for him to make it and bust down all these doors is huge. Right. Probably I couldn't even get as far as I had there not been a Drake. You know what I mean? And like you said in one of his songs, it's not about who did it first, it's about who did it right. So not to say there wasn't people before in Canadian history, but he's really someone that I would say really propelled it and clearly took it to heights that no one else from this side of the border has. Who are some of those people like be for you?
So I'm gonna give you two. It's a two-part answer to that one. I have some personal ones. I had some personal ones that I like actually saw growing up, and then I have my industry ones. Going with the industry, P.D. Pablo would have been my Drake for you, because when he first came out, I'm sitting after school watching BET one day, and all of a sudden I hear, North Carolina, come on and raise. I lost it. I was in the living room on my feet, hands in the air, whatever shirt, bandana, rag, whatever I had handy, right? I'm spinning it like a helicopter, baby. So that was you know, that was for me was the breakout. Like somebody from North Carolina even? Okay. So that was my industry one, like the big one, that really made it seem like some of this stuff was really possible without necessarily going. And because before that, it seemed like everybody was going to New York and they had to rep some other place besides North Carolina. So now it was like, yo, he's screaming North Carolina on the song. I'm with it. And then personally, there were cats in the area like, shout out to my man Dana Lucci first, RIP. He was a big influence to not just me, but the scene in Greensboro. And I think a lot of people didn't realize that until he passed a few years ago.
Yeah.
Time flies. But, you know, he really, like, he would pull artists to the side and, like, really give you the game as far as he knew it. Like, he would give you tips on putting together your studio. He used to make some killer beats, and he would get artists together to do, like, compilations and stuff like that. But even before I actually met him, him and his camp, shout out to Selinsky, shout out to Osha Baz, RIP. But that whole ninth floor camp in Greensboro, like, that was the first independent local cats that I saw that were putting out their own CDs in stores, that were putting out their own flyers and posters, that were putting together their own shows. And you know, it was like, for me, a lot of it is, you can do it. You can really do it. Like, you know, you hear about cats doing it, but then when you can see cats in your city doing it, Brandon D was another one. He used to ride around with the rap truck that had his, you know, his CD cover and everything on it, like stuff like that. When you're a teenager and you're just really getting started, like, that's major. Like, yo, people in the city are actually doing it. I don't have to go to LA. I don't have to go to Atlanta. You could do it right here in the city, and that was major. So that's a lot of what I try to represent now. You know, I'm not the best looking dude. I'm not the muscular dude. You know what I mean? But at the same time,
I definitely
I can
do
get out
with you,
here and
though.
do
It is big boy season. So
right. It is.
it is working,
But,
like, use that to your advantage, you know, because I don't think
oh
it's
yeah.
like how it was at one point where.
Oh yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, when I first started, it wasn't big boy season like that. And
Yeah.
but I've for the longest now, I've wanted to be, you know, maybe that beacon for somebody else. Like, even if I don't ever make $1 million and have screaming fans in the mall, like, that's all well and good. If somebody else can see me and be like, bruh, if this dude can get on the camera and do music videos and TikToks and all that stuff, I can do it. You know what I mean? And that's really the message. Like, I want people to know that it's okay to be you and to do you the way that you know how to do it. Somebody gonna feel it. Somebody gonna rock with it.
Real spit. So a standard question that I ask all my guests here, you know, the platform is Downtown World, don't waste no time with negativity. That is the acronym, you know? And I'd love to know, what is the situation where, hands down, FatBoy, it was definitely negative, no questions asked about it. But somehow, some way, you found a way not to waste any time with negativity.
This is an easy one. There has been 2 times in my career up until now where I actually got booed off stage.
Jeez.
One time, the first time actually, I was still a teenager and we had gotten a gig at like the county fair or something like that. And this was our fault. This was our fault because we had stuff, we had music, we had songs, we had sent them some music, they knew what to expect, and literally the night before, me and the other guys I was in a group with at the time, we sat up and it was already like midnight the night before, and we were like, yo, let's write a totally new song to perform. Out of the blue. I'm looking back now like, smack yourself, you know what I mean? But we did it, and we wrote a song that night, picked a beat that night, wrote a song that night, and we were like, yo, we're gonna, so we stayed up all night writing, and then we stayed up half the day trying to memorize this song. And it was a disaster from jump. Like, and we got there, and one of my partners that I was with he backed out. He got, because it was his first performance, and so he got cold feet. So it was just me and my other homeboy. We went up there, and we didn't know what we were doing, and the lyrics were bad, and The beat, we didn't record anything, and this was our fault for sure. And so probably about 2 minutes into the performance, you hear a couple people just boo, boo. And then the whole crowd starts to pick it up. And it hurt. I mean, let's keep it real. It hurt. But I didn't waste time on the negativity because, like I keep saying, it was our fault. You know what I mean? We took accountability for it. You knew better than this, and we tried it anyway. So the second time I was at like a Showtime at the Apollo kind of deal. It was like a contest thing, and I had actually made it through the first couple of rounds. But then we got to the end where it was like, okay, this is the one, we're picking the finalists here. So competition was tougher and the crowd was a little tougher. And, when I went and performed the song, I think I had switched, because I had performed one song for the first couple rounds. And then I was like, I want to do something different. Like, I don't want to bore them with the same song. So I picked a different song. And honestly, it just didn't hit the same as the other one was. Yeah. And so I got booed off stage. Keep it real. Only happened those 2 times. They're funny stories now. At the time, it hurt. You know what I mean? But it's a part of it. You know what I mean? Everybody's not going to like your stuff. You just really, as an artist, man, woman, or child, whatever genre, you just really going to have to suck that up. Because some people are going to tell you, some people, I've literally had somebody be like, yeah, I listened to it. I wasn't really impressed. Like, it just happens, So
you definitely need a thick skin. And I always that is something that thoroughly annoys me a lot with artists sometimes, because when I'm into an artist, I'm into an artist. So especially if I know they have a show coming, in my mind, I'm already all right, they should be performing this, they should be performing this.
Right.
And I'm not even talking about all the hit records. You know what I mean? Because I'd be in the B-sides, the C-sides. But it's just sometimes in my mind, I'm like, why would you perform this song? So hearing a bit of an explanation from your side, I guess I have a bit more sympathy and understanding towards that now. But I get it. You want people to hear your different stuff or things like that, and you got to gauge it, right? Because sometimes it can work for you. Sometimes it can work against you. So what would you say you would do differently, now that you know better?
Especially using those 2 instances, there's no way in heck I'm going to come up with a song the night before and think I'm going to hit the stage with it. It's just not going to happen. You won't catch me. There might be a song that I already have, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch that in for this. You know what I mean? I might do that, especially if it's one that's kind of performing well and people like a lot. But generally, I have my certain set. And then that's the other thing is when they like a song, I keep it. I just keep it. You know what I mean? For example, and I was just talking to one of my friends about this the other night. My song 1993 is probably my top performance track. That's the track people, I actually have people at this point when I go to perform, if there's people there that know me and know my catalog a little bit, they're like, bro, I know you're going to do 1993. You got to do 1993, right? That's my joint. So I actually was telling my friend the other day, I've been trying to take it out of the rotation for performances because it's been out since 2018 and I have newer stuff. But I mean, I'm not going to not do the song that people are explicitly requesting. Even if I have a game plan to where I'm I'm not going to do this song this time. I'm not going to do 1993. As soon as somebody's like, yo, I know you're going to do that 1993, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do 1993.
Well, even when you think about Hov, right? Because I listen to a lot of Hov. And, definitely, I'm pretty sure he doesn't really feel like performing tracks off a Reasonable Doubt or Blueprint, but nigga, you ain't got a choice. We need to hear those tracks. You know what I mean? So I understand as an artist, you have to push forward, but I guess it's all about as well finding that balance in between. I mean, all right, I'm gonna give you a bit of the new, but here's the shit that I know you guys really, really want to hear. And sometimes it's just that moment of like you've been listening to the song over and over again, and you're finally there with the artist, and it's so beautiful sometimes to even hear the crowd like they're singing it louder than you, but like it's just a moment I feel like more artists need to embrace and take that as part of like the gift and the currency to what they're doing, you know?
Right. I totally agree. And I had that happen one time to where I had actually won an award that night. This was a while ago. And I go out on stage. I was the first performer of the night. And I had a single called Sumo at the time, which was like the one that everybody had kind of flocked to. And like as soon as the beat started, you know, there were people in the audience that were like sumo, you know, like they knew and they didn't know all the words, but then when the hook came up, they were like, I'm going sumo. And like there were at least, you know, 25 people in that audience. And it was probably like I want to say it was a crowd of maybe like 500. So it was a pretty sizable group, and then to have like a little chunk of them to actually know some of the words, like it was actually I was taken aback, and I actually had to like refocus and keep doing the song because when they started singing with me, it was like, yo, I never thought, you know, like you just don't know, you don't know that
You don't
people are listening to
know.
it.
And it is also like a personal connection because I'm sure when you think about where you were at or what you were doing when you wrote that record, Sumo, you know what I mean? It hits more for you when you see people connect with it. I
Oh
would love
yeah.
to know if you could change something about the music industry, given the power, FatBoy, what would you change?
Um, I'm gonna be honest. A lot lately, I've been starting to like digest other artists' ads and look at like their marketing and their stream numbers and stuff like that. And I'm realizing that a lot of like the most talented artists, like some of the best music I'm hearing from indie artists right now, they don't have like the biggest following. I know I heard one song earlier today. I don't remember the name of it or the artist. Forgive me, but it was so good. It was like a singer, and it was like a real a somber track, and it was, you know, she was singing her heart out. She only had like 336 followers on her page. And so if I could change something in the music industry today, it would be to make it less numbers driven.
Yeah.
People see 10.5K followers or 10.5K streams or whatever, and they're like, yo, I gotta put this guy on my show. I have to get this guy for the, and then, you know, once the show's over with, you get the, man, some of y'all artists can't even sell 5 tickets to a show but got 10,000 views. And it's like, well, you know, you went off of internet numbers, and let's keep it real. Them numbers lie a lot of the times. You can buy those numbers. People say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Well, in 2022, them
They
numbers have
lie.
lied to you because you can pay for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, and so I think I would make it less numbers driven. I would take it back to where people actually go and listen to the artist, or at the very least, listen to the artist's fan base. Like, see what the people that are around them have to say about the music. More so than just, oh, I found this guy on Spotify, the song, but it has 15,000 views or 15,000 streams. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So
Facts.
I think
You
that would
know,
be my big change.
a couple of months ago, I had the honor of interviewing Paul Porter, and he was a huge executive producer and TV producer over at BT. A lot of the times when we were watching it, you know, and he spoke on that, where it's just like the industry, they have all these farms and these graphs and charts to calculate, oh, this is what you should put and this is what this audience needs. And he's like, bruh, you can hear a hit. When you hear a hit, you know a hit. I don't need a computer to tell me it's a hit. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why I pride myself a lot on building relationships with kings and queens like yourself, because that's something no one can say I've ever done, where I've looked at the numbers and been like, okay, I'm talking to you based off of this. You know what I mean? I really do take the time to be like, are you serious or not? That's my only
Right.
main question to myself while interviewing someone, because it's heartbreaking if I go back a couple years from now, or even a couple months, weeks at times, and then you're not doing it. And I'm just like, bruh, I believed in you. Like, well, what's happening? You know? And consistency is something that a lot of these artists I feel like struggle with, you know? What are one of the things you feel like, FatBoy, that helps you to remain consistent or be consistent? And in that moments when you're not feeling it, explain to me as much as you can, like, how do you keep going?
So to answer the first part of the question, how do I stay consistent? A lot of the times, a plan.
Mm.
I try to do as much of my stuff in advance as I humanly can, so that then when it's time to do it, I could just pull the trigger and keep it moving instead of trying to come up with something on the fly to throw up, and you know what I mean? And keep it real. Sometimes I do have to come up with stuff on the fly. There are times where I'll make the plan, because I try to do my planning at the end of the previous year, so then when the next year starts, I can just jump in.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes where I'm like, okay, the plan is solid, and then I'll get like 7-8 months into the year, and everything I had on the list has kind of run out. You know what I mean? Or it didn't stretch as long as I had originally planned it to, or something like that. And so now I'm having to go back to the drawing board on the fly. So I definitely try to do as much in advance to help with that consistency, because then you got stuff locked and loaded and you just push the button. And then the second part of that question of how do I, you know, when it gets low, and when things don't seem to be moving, how do I keep the motivation? And for me, there are two big things. The first thing I tell everybody, not even just artists, everybody that's trying to like pursue their dream, their career, their whatever, you have to have passion. And when I say that, people go, oh yeah, well, that's a no-brainer. We know that. Like, no, because you have to want to do this when it's high and you're overwhelmed and 6 people want your attention at the same time, and you have a show and you're battling anxiety and you got to find a sitter for your kid. You still have to want to do this. And then conversely, when nobody's calling, when no money's coming in, when there are no shows, when the plan has not stretched as far as you wanted to go, you still have to want to do it. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are like, bro, I ain't making no money, I'm about to quit. Like, okay, that's fine. You know what I mean? That's your choice. But the passion won't allow you to quit. The second part of that is, like you said earlier, celebrate your small wins. Really, like, you know, I celebrate everything. I know there was one earlier. I'm trying to remember what I posted earlier, but I had posted one of my small wins earlier. But I was, you know, I'm over 350 views organically on my on the One Night in Baton Rouge music video.
Congratulations.
Right, you know what I mean? And I know for, you know, a lot of cats, that's not really a lot, you know, whatever. But to me, like, I like to frame certain things, you know what I mean? And it's like, if you, like I said on a previous interview, if you put your music video on a random TV in Best Buy, right? And you get 350 people in that Best Buy throughout the day to stop and watch that music video, or over the week or whatever, they've stopped and watched that. They've stopped and digested what you have on that TV. You would be proud of your stuff. You would be like, bro, that's a lot of people that stopped and checked in to watch my little random video on Best Buy TV. But because it's on YouTube and it's not 10,000 paid streams or whatever, you know what I mean? People are like, oh, it ain't good enough, you not doing nothing. But it's like, yeah, a lot of people don't see the work you have to put behind that to get 350 people to even know that it's available, let alone to go and watch it. You know what I mean? So that's a small win for me. And you know, now I put some ads behind it and everything, so I'm expecting it to go higher than that. But I always try to do that initially. Right. I always try to do that initially, though. Like, if I can get my people on it, you know what I mean, and get them to listen to it and get them to stream it and share it, and, you know, that's a good start. And then when I go to do the ads, it drives me crazy when I see an artist that has like 25,000 streams and you got like 2 comments, or you got 5 likes, and it's like,
It's very
These are the
funny.
numbers they gonna go off of, though. They ain't like, he got 10,000 streams. I got to put him on a show, and then can't sell 5 tickets. And now you making posts and you mad because the artist done wasted your time and money. But the cat with 350 views, and I think I got like 53 comments now, and 20 some or 53 likes, 20 some comment. Like, that's not a lot in the grand scheme of things.
It is.
But in the sense of putting in the work, in the sense of the amount of people that have gone to listen, versus how many of them have actually liked it, how many have commented, how many have shared, it's pretty good in the framing sense of it. So that's another thing I tell artists to do to keep the motivation is frame it. You know what I mean? Like, how is this working in reference to you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. No,
going back to the whole business thing.
Yeah,
Going back
that's
to the whole
definitely
business
my
thing.
mindset as well, like, especially for me, Downtown World is 1000% organic. Whatever platform you see us on, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, right here on Instagram, everything we've really gotten out of the mud, and sometimes, hater energy, which is bound to happen, when people try to diss me, the first thing they want to come up with is, oh, get your streams up or whatever. But I'm like, bro, my streams are up. I'm a young black girl from Toronto, Canada, from the hood. Ain't nobody know me. My mom never let me go outside. Had to go to church every week. Like, this is a lot for me. Like, the fact that, you know what I mean? I got different things and different people are tuning in. So definitely, like, don't let nobody downplay you. And I'm letting you know, as someone that people could possibly look at my numbers at times and feel like, oh, she ain't really getting it. Like, we getting it. You're getting
Right.
it. And don't let anybody fool you, because though we may have 8K on our way to 9, like, I know that's real people I made connections with. Like, you know what I mean? Everything is authentic. And like you say, when it comes to the real life, because a lot of this VR and metaverse is fooling people, when it comes to real life and you really got to do shows and things like that, like, and nobody comes, or you're wondering why nobody's buying tickets, like, it's because you have no authentic connections.
And I've been that artist. Again, like, that's another one of those things that I had to learn and develop. I've been that artist that was like, man, I only got 25 likes and I only have 1,000 followers, and man, I gotta fluff it. You know what I mean? I gotta make this look like this, that, and the third. And then
they watch it.
Right. You know what I mean? But then the reality of it is, even if the number says 5,000 views, the reality is the same 200, 300, 500 people are the only ones that really saw it anyway. And then you got a bunch of phone farm bots and you might get your stuff snatched down. So I was like, you know what? Instead of trying to doctor it and make it look like da-da-da-da-da for the sake of this DJ, promoter, gatekeeper, or whatever, I'm going to just rock with who rock with me and just embrace it. If I get 10 views, if I get 10,000 views, thank you. It's real people. I appreciate it. I didn't pay for no streams. You know what I mean? So
I just did a post. I think it was today or yesterday. I just did a post and I only got 8 likes. You want to know how many shares I seen on that post? Like, something like 50-something posts. I'm like, y'all niggas be preying the shit out of me, but nobody wants to, like, publicly show it, So you see your numbers, you know what's real, and I'm here to confirm for you. Just keep doing what you're doing. I really love how you're running your program and how, you're organized and living your color aesthetic. You got real people behind you. Shout out to everyone in here coming in and out and showing you love. And those are the moments that really matter. You know what I mean? And building an impression with people. Sometimes when you're performing in that empty bar and it's only 3 or 4, you never know out of those 3 or 4 people who knows who. And especially in this music industry, you will learn. You never know who knows who. So
that's
definitely right. Just like be yourself all the time, because people will see that and they'll call you out on that. So FatBoy, you got it. You definitely got it.
Thank you.
Definitely. I wanted to also ask you, you mentioned mental health, and that's something we take very seriously over here, especially, with our Black Kings. I fear for you guys, because I feel like, when do you ever really tell us what you feel? And you know, it's getting really scary more than normal, if that's
Yeah.
the best way to put it, you know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about like mental health? How are you practicing self-care for you in your life? For real, don't give me no fake answer, you know. And is that something you're paying attention to?
So first of all, I like that it's become more of an accepted topic.
Yeah.
I like that there's not so much stigma to it. So now when you say mental health, people don't automatically think, oh, you need a shrink. Oh, you crazy.
Yeah.
People think, okay, you know, there's something there. We need to figure it out and we need to work on it. So I definitely appreciate that that's become a topic. However, I do think there's still a long way to go for it to be an actual practice, if that makes sense. So like, online, everybody's talking about it. It's definitely more of a topic of discussion. More people are weighing in and chiming in on it. But in actual practice, a lot of people still hold a lot of the same stigmas that they had 3, 5, 10, 20, 50 years ago. It's crazy. I actually worked as a security guard in a mental health ward at the local hospital here for a little while.
You see that?
And it's sad to see that the way we treat mental health in America hasn't progressed that far from when they had like sanitariums and stuff back in like the 1800s. It just, the general premise is to kind of lock them away, sweep it under the rug, and kind of hope it goes away, or punk some medicine at it. And it's really sad. I think, and going specifically into like me now, I like that male mental health is even a topic at all, because it wasn't long ago that you didn't even think about it. Like, it not only was it not being discussed, but it wasn't even being thought about or considered not long ago. So now it's nice that, you know, people are noticing it. But again, in actual ground level practice, there's a long way to go, because there's a lot of different factors as to why. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day about, actually it was in a comment thread about like the patriarchy and feminism and all that good stuff. And it was relatively condescending, the responses that I was getting as far as male mental health. I wish I remember what the meme said off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But a lot of male mental health still gets blamed on men. And you know, as a guy, I definitely feel that and can get that and see that personally. So I'm very thankful for my tribe of people in my support system that really does check in on me and tries to make sure I'm doing all right and everything. Because that's very important, and a lot of guys don't have that. And you see that, like the suicide. I just saw a post that was saying the suicide rate for Black men is on the rise higher than any other race. And you know, we're expected to be rocks. You know what I mean? We're expected to be like solid, and we're expected to protect and provide. And a lot of us, to be completely honest with you, don't have the proper mental health to be a protector or a provider. And I try my best. I do a combination, to be honest with you. I try to be transparent. I do a combination of self-care and avoidance. I'm not going to lie. There's some aspects of my mental health that, and my emotional state even, that I just avoid. I try to dance around it.
We're all guilty of it, yeah.
Yeah, so some stuff I take head on. I'm definitely a type of person to where if something big, last month, for example, I've been kind of going through the whole, you know, questioning your own mortality. You know, you're over I'm getting closer to a certain age to where now I'm thinking about things a lot differently than I would have when I was like 25 or 17, or you know what I mean? And it kind of started to get to me, and then I lost a family member last month. And to be honest, Thank you. And to be honest, like it kind of sent me into a spiral because it hit so close to home, just kind of suddenly, and I was already kind of in a mind state. And I had took a couple days off work. But even before that, it was a new job. I had kind of started dreading it already. And, it wasn't even a terrible job, but it was just, with everything going on in my mind, I wasn't there mentally for it. And so I actually wound up quitting my job. And I feel like things like that count as self-care.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If they're in the right heart. You know what I mean? If you have the right intention.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't a situation where I wanted to sacrifice my mental health for the sake of a company. You know what I mean? And I feel like more people should do that. Like, choose yourself. Like, when it, not just jobs, but family members, friends, coworkers, like anything and anybody that's really like jarring you. Everything ain't gonna bring you peace, people. You know what I mean? Some stuff is going to stress you out, and it's supposed to be honest. But some stuff is supposed to bring you peace. Some stuff is supposed to be of assistance to you. And if it's not when it's supposed to be or when it should be, you need to. And since then, I've gotten really aggressive about like hiring, firing, promoting, and demoting in my life. There are people that were here last year that ain't here now and ain't gonna be here next year. There are people here this year that you're not gonna be here in 6 months. You're not gonna be here in 90 days because I'm choosing me. You know what I mean? And it sounds selfish because it is selfish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're allowed to be selfish sometimes. So that's kind of the spirit that I'm in right now. I'm focused on me.
And I'm really happy to hear you say that because I definitely have been feeling the same way. And, as I spoke on my background with you earlier, just in transparency, it's like there's a mindset around people, especially like when you grow up in the hood and stuff. And it's not that they don't want to see you win. I'm still trying to figure it out myself, like what it is. But you really have to choose you. Like, you really have to put you first and realize, because I know when I get to where I'm going, I'm not going to forget who is there for me. Right. I made that promise to God. I made that promise to myself. He knows my heart. He knows my soul. You know what I mean? But as for the times when I'm like, I can't make it to your party this weekend, or I can't make it here, and those people that want to react in a really outlandish way, I say, all right, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? But I understand the goal and the vision ahead. So you're not saying anything wrong, and I think more people need to do that, not out of ignorance, but just like you said, in choosing yourself.
Right. I totally agree, and it's imperative. You know what I mean? Because it's real easy to stretch yourself too thin, and then you don't have enough for yourself. You know the old saying about pouring from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty cup, man. You got at some point, that cup is gonna be it. Your battery is gonna crash, whatever, and you're gonna have to go back and do some shadow work, and you're gonna have to go back and reevaluate. Is this person really for me like they maybe used to be, or like they should be, or like, that kind of thing. And I actually had somebody that they've been following me for years. We were cool for a while, but now it seems like the only time they jump on my page is when they got something contradictory. Right. And it's like, when I'm sending them music, they're ignoring it. When I'm telling them I got a new drop coming, they're ignoring. So the other day, I had hit her up and was like, hey, check out my new music video. I got a new music video out. Check out my new music video. And she said something like, no, because the last time, or no, because you had said something that made me aggy, and so I'm waiting till I have a cooler. And all I said was, okay. I'm not arguing with nobody. I'm not begging nobody. I'm not convincing nobody. I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm not going to blast you on social media. But when you come back to my page and it say add friend, or it say this page is not available,
Yeah.
You know why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to choose you, because there's going to be a lot of people that are just hanging around for just in case, or they hanging around for freebies, or they never really like, or they don't like what you're doing, but maybe they like you as a person, but it's kind of hand in hand here. You know what I mean? So,
Story of my life. But you know what I will say? You know what I will say to that, fat boy? Keep doing what you're doing, and those people will come around, because we know those people are fake. Fake love, and you know who's really in your circle and showing you that consistent and real love, you know? So we know how that goes. You announce something, if they deem it big, they're all up in your comment section, they're all there praising you. But the times you're there and maybe you really needed them to pull up to the show, buy the ticket to come to the show, they were too busy or this or that, but let it be someone else. They're all up there, you know? So I definitely learned to just, when, like you said, you choose you, you have that passion, that consistency, and you know it's something that you're honestly working towards. No one or nothing can ever like truly, truly scare you away from that.
and that's a great point, because, and I'm gonna take that back to when you were saying what's something you would change about the industry.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of people, not even artists, I'm going to like the fans and like the consumers and people that like just enjoy music.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like if you tell an artist, I'm not feeling that song, I don't like your music like that, I don't want to crush nobody's dream. If you're an artist about your salt, one person, two people, 10 people cannot crush your dream. Like this, I've been doing this for years and years and decades now. You know what I mean? One person telling me they don't like my music is not gonna make me go home and cry myself to sleep and never do music again. It's just not. You know what I mean? And so I wish more people outside of music would be okay with telling an artist, hey, you know, and there's a difference between criticism and hate,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's okay to tell an artist, hey, you know, maybe you shouldn't have did that song. Hey, you know, I'm not really feeling your music because you just not seeing me the stuff and it's not going to crush your dream. It's just going to let us, because there's only so much time, effort, money, budget, ad spend, whatever the case may be in at a time. So there's no point in me wasting any of that energy and investment on somebody that's genuinely not interested. You know what I mean? So if you tell me, hey, your posts are getting on my nerves, that's fine. I'm not gonna cuss you out. I'm not gonna blast you on social media.
I'm
Oh,
gonna keep
you a
sending
hater.
it until you
Right,
unfollow me. Cause why are you following me?
right, right. Because
Yeah.
if you don't tell me, I'm just gonna keep sending. If you tell me, then for me, that's like somebody unsubscribing. You know what I mean? If you tell me, hey, I don't want your correspondence anymore, cool. Don't be mad when I unfriend you and unfollow you, because I'm clearing out my list for people that are interested. I'm not mad at you. I don't hate you.
Yeah.
I'll transfer you over to one of my personal pages. We can kiki and laugh under memes all day. You know what I mean? We still be cool. But if you're going to sit on the page, I'm going to send you my stuff. If you're watching me right now and you planning on following me, when I drop a new music video next month, I'm going to send it to your inbox.
Straight up.
Okay? So... And I
And
don't send a lot of stuff because I know about spam and badgering people. I really try not to send too much correspondence. But when it's something big and I know I need views or votes or something like that, I'm going to hit you. You know what I mean? So you need to let me know, hey, don't hit me, and I will slide you to the side. But if you don't tell me that, you're getting all the emails, you're getting all the inboxes, you're getting the text messages, you're getting the flyers, you're getting the tags, like all of that.
Keep doing
Right.
it. And you know, even for myself, like being in the media space and on that side of things, I tell artists, like, you know, many times I've sat here, I've interviewed with someone, I'm like, bro, it's not that I don't fuck with you, I just have a lot of shit coming in. So when you have new stuff that drop, you have anything, send it to me. Just send it to me. Keep sending it to me, because yes, I do have lists that I'm trying to maintain, but also I'm also human. Send it to me so I can see it there, so I can share it and post it. I'm not one of those people that are like even when we were setting up, like, you have your options, you know what I mean? And I'm not treating anyone differently, because I really do respect people and how hard they work for things. So I understand, you know, But what you do need to do is definitely keep putting yourself out there and not like being easily discouraged. If there was something that you could share with other artists out there that have helped you like through your hard times building, and you're still building, you know, I know you've given a lot of fruit tonight, but what is one of the last things you would like share to say, this is something you artists really need to hear, know, or whatever just comes to your spirit?
Honestly, I'm gonna say the same thing that I say. I say this in pretty much every interview because this is kind of my motto.
Yeah.
Keep doing you. Somebody gonna feel it. Okay, and that's actually in the bio on my Instagram page. Keep doing you. Somebody gonna feel it, because it's real easy to get discouraged when you get 2 likes. It's real easy to get discouraged when you get 100 views and you just knew you just knew this was gonna be the hit.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? But keep doing you, somebody gonna feel it. And the people that do feel it, those are the people that you rock with. The people, no response is a response. The people that you send the stuff to and they don't hit you back, they don't say, hey, I'm at work, I'll check it out later. Hey, I saw it and it's hot or nothing. That ain't your tribe. But the people, like you said, there are people out there that are like, hey, send it to me. I know I'll be busy, you know, and if I don't watch it right away, just shoot me a little reminder. Those are the people you need to worry about, man. And I struggle with that sometimes. I work on that sometimes. And I'm still, you know, I'm still striving and trying to embed that within myself. But it's definitely something that I tell other artists, don't be too stressed about these vanity metrics, because they watch it. They may not like it. They may not share it. They may not comment it, but they saw it. They saw it. And somebody that see it is going out the blue, hit you up and be like, bro, your song Toast was hot. You know what I mean, bro? That last music video you dropped, you know what I mean? I've had complete strangers on Instagram that I've never talked to, messaged, tagged, or nothing, hit me up out the blue and be like, bro, your shit hot. Where can I find out more? You know what I mean? And now they subscribing to the email list on my website and subscribing to my YouTube channel. Those are the people you need to rock with. The millions of other people that may not have even heard your stuff, don't know you exist, that do know you exist and just ain't paying you no mind. The other piece of advice I always say, in case you forgot, fuck them. That's, you know what I mean?
I'm telling you, because they're always gonna come back around, you know, fake or not, they're always gonna come back around. FatBoy, I really, really enjoyed the conversation with you today. You're like such a genuine spirit, and I'm really happy when I'm able to like speak to people I've kind of met via the internet, listening to their catalog, and they are who they say they are. So I definitely do pick up that from you, and hopefully, you know, when I'm out in Carolina, we can definitely like link up, come to a show, and definitely show you, you know, some more support. And I'm gonna tell you now, make sure you send me your things when it drops. Don't ever feel like you're annoying me. I just have a lot of stuff coming in, so I need people to remind me. You know what I mean? And that is how we build each other up. Me posting you on my blog, whether it's paid or not, it takes nothing away from you. Like, and I think a lot of people make that mistake, and they're just like, oh, well, you ain't got no money for me. I'm not like, and I understand, but I don't know. I believe in a higher power as well, and God is always in control. So definitely, anyone listening to this conversation now or later on when it's posted, just please listen to everything FatBoy has said tonight and really believe in yourself and continue to just go hard and fuck them.
Right. Fuck them. In case you forgot, fuck them, because it's real easy. It's real easy to get you know, oh, they didn't. This person didn't like my da-da-da. And honestly, it's not always going to, the people that like your stuff are not always going to be the people that you want to like your stuff.
Exactly. It's always surprising.
So, yeah.
So
rock with your tribe.
Sorry, FatBoy?
No, I was saying rock with your tribe. That's what I say. Rock with your tribe.
Facts. And I'd love for you to let everyone know where they can follow you, where they can support you, where they can tap into your network. I tried to pin it at the bottom there, but just honestly, just let everyone know who, you know, is not watching, where they can hit you up.
Oh yeah, it's real easy. I'm thefatboy.com. It's like my IG name with .com at the end of it, and that's literally where you can find music, press, music videos. I do artwork. Hit me up if you need graphic designs. My brand new music video, which is actually a short film directed by Visual Dynasty, produced by the chef. That's actually up there right now. I got a cover
still have to
review.
watch that. That's why I didn't ask too much about it. But this won't be the last time that we're speaking. So.
Oh yeah. And I got a new single coming next month. The cover reveal and the single, you know, announcing the single and everything will be on March 1st. I got merch up there. I mean, I'mTheFatBoy.com. And if you want to follow me on social media, I got all my social medias up there too. So go to I'mTheFatBoy.com, start there, and wherever you meet me at, that's where I'm gonna be at waiting for you.
Amazing. I want to say thank you, FatBoy, so much for this beautiful conversation. You definitely didn't waste any time with negativity. You ate fruit, minded your business, and that's what we're all about. So I have been trying a new thing because, not really a new thing, but my spirit has just been telling me, I want you to end this conversation out tonight. Whatever's on your heart, your spirit, you feel like you were able to say, you know, I'm giving you the last words tonight before we close out.
I want to shout you out. I definitely want to say thank you for having me on, but also thank you for giving artists a platform like this. You know, especially indie artists, it can be tough to find stuff like this and to have things like this to where you can talk about your art and what you have going on. So I always want to shout out the curators and the organizers of these podcasts, blogs, all of that stuff, because you don't have to. You could be anywhere in the world, but right now you sitting here talking to me. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So I definitely want to shout you out, but I want to, for everybody, not just artists, I definitely always just want to reiterate that keep doing you. Somebody gonna feel it thing, because there's a lot of people out there that feel like they have to stifle who they are. They have to apologize for who they are. Be who you are, man. If you're the weird, nerdy, anime-loving guy, do that. You know what I mean? If you like, you know, mukbang videos, do that. You know what I mean? If you like, right, you know what I mean? I mean, whoever you are, whatever you are, be that. Because everybody else is taken. You know what I mean? Everybody else. So be who you are. And if they don't like it, fuck them. Real talk. They don't have to like it. You don't need their approval.
Hi guys, this FatBoy. You guys make sure you're following him. Tap that upper corner of the screen. And I want to say thank you so much, King. And remember to keep sending me in. We'll definitely chop it up. This won't be the last time. And thank you guys for tuning in and giving us your time. I know you guys, as you said, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. So thank you guys so much for tapping in. I'm your girl, Kay. This has been a beautiful conversation with FatBoy. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And remember, don't waste no time with negativity.
At all.
About to go downtown.
Downtown